Ik voel maar net dat die regering moet voor die vrouwen, die ook die vrouwen bijstaan, voor grond. En ik zie ons vrouwen betekenen ook niks in die land. Als die boeven voor ons uitzet, dan zet die voor ons uit. En ik voel net, ons moet ook een vorm tekenen dat die mans tekenen. En hulle moet omgee vir ons vrouens en vir ons kinders, want ek sien dat lei aan die kinders ook. Dat bring die kinders terug na drugs toe. Waar hulle drugs beginnen gebruik en alcohol. En ek sien die kinders beginnen. Gaan nie meer skool nie. Want ma word uitgesit, ma weet nie waar om te gaan nie. En ek voel net dat die regering moet die mammies en die kinders moet bijstaan.
Mhlambe kule mthetho le ekhandwayo singafisa ukuthi njengabantu besifazane sivikeleke. Singafisa ukuthi sivikeleke. Umuntu wesifazane omfelokazi ongenayo umnyeni, ongenayo ingane yomfana akavikelekile. Bayakwazi abantu besilisa ukwenza noma yini kuye. Kungaba ifamily, kungaba abantu bomphabe community. Number 2, abantwana abangenabo abazali asiyafisa ukuthi bevikeleke, abavikelekile abantwana bayizintandane. Kwenzeka noma yini kubo ngoba abasenaye umkhulumeli. Bangakwazi ukuphucwa noma yini njengaba abafelokazi bayakwazi ukuphucwa noma yini yakho umfelokazi. Even indawo hlezi kuyona mase kukhona bathi bayayifuna ayikho into ozoyenza kuwazi wena ukuthi ena ibelonga ku. Mase beyifuna ayikho into ozoyisho ngoba kekho ozokuvikela kuloko.
Ngingathanda ukuthi uhulumeni kule green paper akubeke kucace amalungelo abantu besifazane abese yalandelela futhi. Ungathi mina ngoba ngumfelokazi ngingakwazi ukuthola indawo yokuhlala nabantwana. Ngashada nenkosi ushaya abantu zondi yakhothama ngo-1990. Ngangikhulelwe ngizoba nomntwana wesithupha intombazane. Ngo-1992 ngaxoshwa emzini wami. Ngixoshwa umndeni womyeni wami. Ngabuyela ekhaya. Ngabikela imantshi angisizakalanga. Imantshi yasevula indlela.
Kusho engakubuka kulokho green paper angiboni ukuthi khona la izosisiza khona thina njengabantu abahlala emaplazini ngoba isikhathi esiningi yashintsha sekunemithetho eminingi esibekiwe kusukela ngo-94 kuzobe u-2011 ukuthi uhulumeni ubeka imithetho eminingi egcineni angakwazi ukuyilandela nangakwazi futhi ukuthi ayisebenzise.
Our main issue and our main problem with the green paper is that it's silent about the land restitution and betterment. So we want the green paper to address the reopening of land restitution and all betterment affected areas, especially in the Eastern Cape and other provinces that are affected.
Now we feel powerless. We don't have power because if we were having a power, we wouldn't have too long to fight against the government about the betterment issue because they know they were wrong. Even Lulu Klingwana, by the time she was the minister, she agreed with us because they said, no, it was their mistake. They are going to correct it. But until now, I think it's more than 6 years now, we talking about the issue of betterment.
Ons kan nie boer nie, want daar is die grond nie. As ons na die munisipaliteit toe gaan, dan word gesê ons moet ons diere maar slag as ons die grond het vir die diere nie. Baie mense maak tuin op 'n jaar, nou op hulle 8de jaar, maar die probleem is water. Jy kan nie eens water gebruik nie, want dan kom die bouwee kom op aan die munisipaliteit om te betaal die geld van die water.
Thing is, when land was taken from the people, it was taken as a package. Land goes along with the right to water, mineral rights, and all the natural resources.
And in terms of the issue of water, we've had the experience where the farm belongs to a black, is redistributed to a black previous dispossessed, but the water rights are belonging to a previous commercial farmer of that farm. So the issues of waters needs also to be resolved. We should not be stereotyped of land alone as government. We should be inclusive and look at other factors that are concerning land, agriculture, and the environment.
Ons boere in groot groepe daar aan Heidelberg, daar's 3 groepe en die subsidies wat ons kry is te laag en die grond is te klein en die pryse is verskriklik hoog en die regering ons voel dat die regering het wil volgens die groenskrif komitees stig en by ons wat die meentgronde het is daar nog eens meentgrond komitees gestig hier.
Apha sinomproblem yomhlaba sifuna ubuyile wethu. Lo mhlaba sineproblem soba siyalwa ezilalini sizinkosi singabahlali. So sifuna abantu abakhoyo pha ehlaleni bathathane nenkosi basebenze ndaweni. Inkosi ikwazi ukuthi sibe no organization esinayo pha ehlaleni like iCPA sisebenza ndaweni ninye, iCPA basisebenza ndaweni ninye, inkosi kwa ipart and parcel la CPA. Nabahlali babe ipart and parcel ya la CPA. No councillor naye abe khona kula CPA. Sifuna ukuthi sisebenza ndaweni ninye nomhlaba wethu sikwazi ba xa ubuye kuthi sikwazi ba sibe nolawulo singabantu. Kula mhlaba sinawo kula ndawo sihleli kuyo.
We want to advise the government that this must be done with people in order for it to be a success. Of course, people there at home do not know anything about this. They do not participate. They don't even use the land that belongs to them. Of course, they are not organized. Then we advise now the government to entrench those CPAs, more especially there in the rural areas. That's where there is frictions between the people and the traditional leaders. If the CPAs are there to be entrenched by the rural development, they will be the rightful owners of the land. Of course, our belief that the land does not belong to a chief or to anyone. The land belongs to the people.
The land belongs to all the people, especially in the rural areas. With the land, the chief hosh and each and every individual are the same when coming to land issue. But in the social life, social movement, hoshi, our chief, is a representative chief. But when going to land participation, chief and myself, we are the same, we are equal with land. So the rural land, the title, the ownership thereof, each and everybody on the land must have his own title deed, so that to have a social security.
Uhulumeni mina ngabona into asenzele yona ngaphandle sula 1999 wafika FSG uyena nje namanje njengoba silapha nje uFSG osichasile nje yonke into sesifundile sifunda ngoFSG.
What I think of the green paper, I think it's failing its people, especially the people who are living in rural areas, because they are not mentioning where they are going, what they want, where they are going, and also they are just talking about the history from where we come from and where we are now. So they don't give solutions, and I don't think it's going to work for the people in the rural area, especially people who want land, especially the small farmers who want to farm. They don't say anything about that people.
And I think my point of view of the green paper is they're talking about production, but production for whose production? Production is not really for us as small scale farmers. They must create a market for us as small scale farmers, for us to also go and sell our products to a small scale market, because now we have to travel far because our nearest market in our area is in Cape Town. They also have to know that we as small scale farmers will at the end of the day the poverty alleviation will be relieved, and there will be more job creation, and they are talking about food security, food sovereignty. So that is going to be, if you put all these things in place, then they also have to put this into the green paper.
Want as jy kyk na die huidige landbousektor, die landbousektor faal ons ook in 'n sekere mate. Want ons praat van voedselsekuriteit en heidaglik gaan slaap baie mense nog sonder voedsel. So dan kan jy sê dat die huidige landboustelsel faal ons in 'n mate. Dan wil ons ook praat van voedselsoevereiniteit, want ons dink dat voedselsoevereiniteit is net so belangrik. Elke persoon moet kan besluit watter gesonde voedsel hy wil eet en watter gesonde voedsel hy dan wil plan. En dan wil ek sê dat die alternatief vir die huidige chemiese model is dan die agro-ekologiese manier van landbou.
Maar op die oomblik het ons nou as vrouens van die kleinplaas het ons nou 'n groentetuin gekry, 'n projek opgestel, maar ek is nou onder Mauboye. Ons as 13 vrouens het nou 'n stuk grond gekry by die skool waar ons 'n kontrak geteken het vir 5 jaar by 'n laerskool. En dit ons by een van die plaasboere gegaan om 'n traktor te kry om ons grond te bewerk te kry. Ons het ook 'n kontrak vir 6 jaar. Nou by oomblik 3 weke terug het ons nog begin te plan. Dis 'n halwe hektaar grond wat ons gekry het, maar dit's baie mooi. Grond wat ons geplant het al opgekom. Alles ons het 'n probleem met water. Ons het water van Januarie tot Januarie. Want dis water wat van die berg kom wat net langs die skool vloei. So ons vang nou daai water op vir ons tuin.
I have a history of land reform, a practical history of land reform, in that we successfully negotiated a land reform process in our district, possibly 10 years ago already. In the beginning, we never had much support from government, but we did have support from NGOs who had published articles about land reform. We took it upon ourselves as commercial farmers to negotiate a land reform process for our district, which we did successfully. There were many meetings in between, approximately 100, where we learned to trust each other, in other words, the farm workers and the restitution claimants. We learned to trust each other, and then we were able to get to the nitty-gritty of land reform. We found that once we trusted each other, we picked up speed. We were able to then get on to how to redistribute the land, access funding from government. None of it was easy, simply because the government departments were in silos and still are, I suppose. In that process, we drew heavily on the white paper, which obviously still exists, because it gave many good examples of what the vision was. In other words, that there would be a new landscape of large, small, emerging farmers, as well as commercial farmers.
So we were looking at the green paper, which is coming with a holistic way of restoration of people, of rights that was lost by people. So it is a very disappointing paper. It doesn't form a basis of a dialogue, and we want the vision statement to be rewritten, and the inclusion of all the comments that was made, taking in the landmark of the land conferences, which started ever since 1991 to the last summit in 2005, an audit of all those resolutions, and we rewrite the green paper. We cannot move to the climate, to the white paper without all those things.
Totdat die departement of die staat nie tot 'n besef sal kom dat dit is broodnodig om grondverdeling so gou as moontlik te bespoedig nie, sal ons dan 'n radikale stap moet neem om ons grond terug te kry.
Ngiyacabanga lona isilokugcina leli eselikhona ukuthi makuthatha umhlaba lona elizokwazi ukuthi lisebenze.
op die oomblik voel ons maar net so as hulle nie vir ons wil luister nie, dan gaan ons maar ons gaan vat.